Okay, Piske Kuf Chavches. No, so Kuf Chavches we finished yesterday, Kuf Chavtes. Okay. Amar Rabbi Eloi ben Berachia. So now we're going to discuss a few things that now we're finishing up the Masechta. So at the end of the Masechta, there's always, nice stories, nice sayings.
Got it though.
Yeah, so all in Ya'akov is got it, but Soita and it goes from the stories of the Churban to just what people are saying in general. So it says like this: philosophy of David. If not for the tefillah of David HaMelech, you call Israel Melech Revav, all the Yidden will be selling Revav. What's Revav? Zogt Rashi, Revav. Zogt Rashi Revav. Aniyim. So Zogt Rashi Revav with davar mos. Revav is something disgusting. Kemo chaylev v'shuman, like something very oily and greasy. V'nidbek b'bdeim, and it sticks to your clothing. V'nim asin, and you become very dirty from it. And the only people who deal with it are aniyim. So if not for the davening, if not for the tefillah of David HaMelech, all the Yidden will be selling those type of stuff. Meaning to say they will be very poor. He brings a pasuk to back it up. Okay? Then he's going to say a second thing from the same Rabbi Lo bar Brechio. If not for the davening for the tefillah of Habakkuk, there will be two Talmidei Chachamim that will be seated on the one talis because they will be so poor that they wouldn't be able to afford a talis for each individual.
Each individual, yeah.
So Habakkuk made ask Hashem, make that the Jews should not be so poor. שנאמר, השם שמעתי שמך יוריסי השם פולך בקרב שונים חיים. אל תקרא בקרב שונים, אלא בקירוב שניים. Don't read it בקרב שונים, like that the pasuk says that the years should be close. אלא בקירוב שניים, that two people should be close to each other, and this is what it means, that two Talmidei Chachamim will be sitting to each other, next to each other, covering themselves with one piece of cloth instead of having one for each. One more thing that Rabbi Eloi bar Brechi said, if there's two Talmidei Chachamim that are walking down the road, and they don't discuss Divrei Torah together, they deserve to be burnt alive, or at least burnt. Like it says in the pasuk, "Vayihei ma'il chimolech v'daber, v'hine rechev eish v'sus eish, vayafridu ben shneim, vayal Eliyahu b'sora shamayim." So it's the story of Elisha and Eliyahu that are walking down the street, and all of a sudden there's a fire that comes that separates Elisha from Eliyahu and takes Eliyahu and takes him up in a fire in the heavens. Which, by the way, if you want to remind me after the show, I'll tell you a very nice ma'aseh with the Baal Shem Tov. Okay, so this is the story of Elisha and Eliyahu Hanavi. Why were they not burned? Why was Elisha spared? Because they were talking Divrei Torah. Aleika dibor, but if they wouldn't have been talking Divrei Torah, then the fire wouldn't spare. Yeah, one more thing that Rabbi Eloi ben Brachia says. If there are two Talmidei Chachamim that live together in one city, and they don't discuss and agree or communicate with halacha, or exchange halacha with each other at every level, in talking and learning and agreeing or disagreeing, or at least they exchange.
Some people.
Echad meis ve'echad goyle. One will eventually die, and the second one will be exiled. Shenemar, he brings a pasuk to back up this statement. Lonus shomar etzeach asher irtzach Yisrael bilvedas. So there is a pasuk in Chumash Dvarim regarding Arim Miklat. So if somebody killed his friend on purpose, so he did it on purpose. He didn't not on purpose. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Unintentional.
Unintentional, yeah. So he cannot be liable to be killed, to pay for it, to be killed himself. But from another hand, he did kill somebody. So what does the halacha say? What does the pasuk say? He needs to go in exile. There are designated cities, designated town, that those people will go over there, right? So in this pasuk we see two things. One is dead, and one goes to exile. But what does it say in the pasuk? Bivli das, and the Gemara explains what's das. Vein das la Torah. So the das that it says in the pasuk over here, and they say there is no das, so meaning there is no Torah. So in the same pasuk that we see that one is dead, one is going to exile, it says also there is no Torah.
So that's why.
So that's why if two people live, two Lamed Chachamim live in the same city and they don't exchange divrei Torah and halacha, this is what this passage teaches us. Okay? שני מעמדים מועמים לוידס. אמר רבי יהודה בן רבי חייא, Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Chia, says, okay, we're going into more statements, different statements. Anybody who learns Torah doichak means that you're not comfortable, not financially, and not in the comfort of your house, in the comfort of your life. So you're bedoichak, you're very not in a good situation. Sit closer. Sit closer.
You sit here?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Sit over
Yeah,
there.
you're right. Perfect.
Have a seat.
Your phone.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to show them where we're up to?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'll find
So
it. Don't
page
worry.
112.
Sota?
I'm sorry.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I'll find it. Okay.
Nun Zion in this book. It's on,
Okay.
Yeah, Nun Zion.
No problem.
Okay. So we are talking. Well, now we finish up Masechta Sota, and he brings a lot of statements and mices and. Okay. So now he says like this: anyone who learns Torah that when he's not comfortable in his own life, so he doesn't live a luxury life. Tfilas nishmas is tefillah is being heard by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shenamar, he brings a pasuk to prove this. It says in the pasuk, "Ki am b'tzion yeshev Yerushalayim baruch l'isiv ke'echonen yachodecha lekol zakecha." Okay, so he talks about somebody who cries to Hashem, and right after it says, so right after this pasuk, there's another pasuk that says, "V'nosan lochem Hashem, lechem tzar u'mayim lochatz." So eventually Hashem gives them what he needs.
Right.
So even though he was crying and not in a good situation, in the first place, eventually Hashem gives them what he needs. One more thing, if somebody learns Torah b'doichak, it says also, Af ein apar nimlon lefanav. The curtain that is between the Shechina and the Yidden doesn't close in front of them. It's always open for them. Yeah, Pargoid is the, like we say in the Esar Ruge Malchut, it says, Shamaiti ma'achorei Pargoid. Right? And he brings a pasuk to back it up. Leikon nefred morecha. Rabbi Abahu Omer, Av zoichu miskabel, and mazbin oisem miziv hashchina. And we give him to feed ziv hashchina. So if somebody with all these difficulties is still on Torah, the last statement says that we feed them with ziv hashchina. And ziv hashchina is what the tzaddikim are getting fed in the Olam Haba. Okay? Piskel Lamed, Kuf Lamed. So we saw in the Mishnah that it says over there that Bisman HaGolus, after the Churban, Ein Yom She'ein B'Klolo. Every day it's another curse. So Amar Rav says, what does that mean that every day is another curse? כל יום ויום מרובה מקלילוסי, מרובה קלילוסי ושל חברוי. Every day is worse than the day that has been before. Every day gets only worse. שנאמר, it brings a pasuk, הבוקר תום המיתן ערב, ותום המיתן בוקר. In the Klolis, in Pashas Dvorim, in Chumash Dvorim, there is all the Klolis over there. Moshe Rabbeinu said that it's going to be so terrible for you that in the morning you're going to beg for evening to come, and in the evening you're going to beg for the morning to come. So the Gemara asks, hey Boiker, which morning are we talking about? Are we talking about the morning to come? That we're begging the morning to come? Are we begging the morning to come? Or we're begging for the morning that just had been to be again? So he's gonna explain. If you're gonna say that you're begging for the next day to come, how do you know if the next morning is gonna be better? So you have to say that you're talking about the previous morning, because the next you can't beg for the next morning. The next morning might be worse. So if you say that it's so terrible, why is the world going? Why do we need all this? So answer the Gemara is a very special answer. Akdusha de sidre vayesh miraba de ganeto. Only because the Yidden are saying the parsha that people are learning Torah every day. Yeah, look at Rashi. הקדושה לסדרה, סדר קדושה שלא תקנו, אלא שיהיו כל ישראל עוסקים בתורה בכל יום, that the Yidden should be busy with the Torah every day, דבר מועט, even a little bit, שאומרים קריאוסה ותרגומים, because we read the Torah in its translation, what we are doing right now, basically חיטס, והם עוסקים בתורה, and it's like they're busy with the Torah.
Why is only עוסקים בתורה? Aren't we only עוסקים בתורה?
Because למעשה, he says, כעוסקים בתורה. Look, he says in the weiter, right, וכיוון שנוהג בכל ישראל בתלמידי ובעמי הארץ, ויש כאן שתי תלמוד תורה, וקדוש אז השם, חביבו. So, why is this כעוסקים בתורה? It's a good question.
And maybe people are listening, so Mishnatif, but they're listening, they understand.
Maybe because you need to learn Torah the whole day, and you'll only learn a little bit, so it's considered like you do, like we say in the Maimer of the Bar Mitzvah, that Ribono Shel Olam, anu רוצים בגלל התורה בלילה ואין לנו פנאי, we don't have time to do it.
But also, if you're making parnasa, you're mitzvah. So
Yeah, good.
it's not you're putter from
Right,
learning Torah.
he says, yeah, good, very nice.
But at the moment you get off work, it's like you're
Yeah.
on. Yep.
Okay, so the whole world stands just for the Jews that are learning Torah. Yeah? Schön. Weiter.
That was a good little part.
So there we say also in the Mishnah, ולא יורתה לברכה וניטלתה מהפרס. Okay, so after the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, it says the Mishnah ולא יורתה לברכה, and the taste of the foods were taken away. So it's going to explain a little bit. Right, because we were talking about after the Beis Hamikdash וכו'. Tanya, it says in the Braise, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, Tyra, when the Yidden stopped keeping Tuma and Tyra, the lack of Tyra, bitletan peres v'reicham. He canceled the taste and the flavor of the fruits, and the smell, the good smell of the fruits. Meiser, the lack of Meiser, when the Yidden stopped keeping Meiser, bitel shuman daga. He canceled the oilness, The what? The fatness, yeah, the dogon, the cereals were very fat, very oily. So
The what?
the lack of
What's
meiser,
dagan? What's dagan?
dogon is all the type of cereals.
Oh.
So wheat, barley, all those
Right,
things.
right.
So they, you remember last day we learned that they were very oily. That
Well, it was a
when
geschmack. It was
right, so
Oh. It was a good quality. It was really,
right,
okay.
yeah. That it looked like a dough that was kneaded
Right,
with
we learned yesterday. Right,
with
yes.
honey and
Right. Okay.
and oil. So the lack of meiser cancel we could say the freshness of the cereals. We can translate somehow like this. Okay, so two things: the lack of tyre, the lack of the Yidden keeping tumen tyre, cancel the taste and the flavor and the smell of the fruits, and the freshness of the cereals, the wheat and barley. Okay, and the Gemara now is going to bring a story to show a little bit what happened. To prove this statement, to bring a proof for this statement. So once Ravuna Ashkach Tamarto Daninusa, he find a sort of date. Rashi says Daninusa. What is this? Shmeina. It's very fat. V'yesh bariach tov. He has a very good smell. Umin tmarim uleatzon. It's a type of date. Okay. So Ravuna find this. He find it. Karcha besudre. He wrapped it in his piece of cloth. Also, Rabbo Berei, his son Rabbo came. Right? So remember, he had it wrapped, Ravuna had it wrapped in his cloth, in his piece of cloth, right? And he meets his son. Amarle, his son tells his father, I smell the smell of this date.
Wow.
Amalei, Bini, he told him, my son, Tairo yesh becha. You kept Taira. You kept the Taira and the Tuman Taira. You kept it. Why? Because you're able to smell it.
So it's not that the smell went away. You couldn't smell. Oh, that's crazy.
So what did he do?
The doctor where your type was. Yeah. Wow.
The minus is in you, not in the
Mida keneged mida.
So what did he do? Yahavin Yali, he gave it to him. So the father gave it to his son. Yeah? Rav Huna gave it to Rabba. So the father gave it to his son. Adeachi asa, Abba Berei. Then his son came. So the son of Rabba, which is the grandson of Rav Huna, Shakla, so he took it. The date that he received from his father, he took it, and he gave it to his son. So to the grandson of Ravuna. So Ravuna said, Bini, my son, simachtu eslibi, you made me very happy. But you also kind of offended me. I'm also disappointed. Why? You made me happy because, look at Rashi. Simachtu eslibi, you made me happy with Aroscha because I see you kept Tyro. Because it's shini, but you offended me. You made me sad. That you love your son more than you love me. Proof is that you gave it to your son and you didn't give it to me. So I was like the Gemara, this is what the people say in general. This is something that people say. Rachme de Abba Abnei, the pity of a father upon his son. Verachme b'nei Abnei de Abnei. And the pity of the son to his son, it doesn't go back to his father.
Wow.
So people tend to get a lot of love from the father, and they don't tend to return to their father, but they give it over to their son. Wow. So this is the way it works.
I'm sorry, when you say rachamim,
Yeah.
you have to say rachamim.
No.
If you say pity, it's like a domage. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Rachamim.
Okay.
No,
actually, Rashi translates rachmei. It translates love. So yeah.
I get it.
Rachmet, it's love. I said pity because I get mixed up. But so let's read again. Rachmet de Abnei, the love of a father upon his son. Rachmet de Abnei, and the love of the son to his son. So it doesn't go back to the father. Yeah, so in the same idea, the Gemara is bringing another story, also the same type of idea. Ravacha bar Yaakov, yeah, he had a nephew. He took care of his nephew, the son of his sister. Yeah, Kigedal, when he grew up, this son, his name also was Yaakov. Amalei, he told him, Ashkemaya. He told him, Ravacha told him, pour me water. Amalei, the nephew answered him, Atu brachana, am I your son? Barbartachana. I'm the son of his, yeah, I'm your nephew. This is what the people said. Rabbe, raise him as a little kid, and eventually he's going to tell you about Bartachana. I'm not your son, I'm your nephew. So it's also
Strange story.
it's a very strange story.
Right.
Yeah.
A person is raising his nephew, and then when he's asking for a cup of water, he's telling him no.
Right.
But the point is also to say that eventually people don't tend to give back what they receive. This is the nature.
Like, or even deeper, there's something special that's the stam, but there's something special about the father-son relationship,
Right.
where you will do that for your own son. Like you,
Right.
that's the stam is, yes, people don't usually give back, but for your son, you'll, like, for sure, like, you'll say, oh, but my father did this for the son. Like,
Right.
that's weird
But
exception.
But eventually you don't give back to your father.
You don't give back; it only goes one way.
It doesn't say it's okay. It just says that that's what
Right,
happens.
right. That's a high note.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what they say.
Yeah. So let's try to finish the Masechta today. We have only one more to go.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Pisuk Kuf Lamed Aleph. Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Lezer HaGodol Omer, miyom shecharav beis Chemdaseinu, sherei hakimu lemevi kisafrayo. So since the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the Talmidei Chachamim were considered like the Talmidei Chachamim were very estimated people, and they were considered like regular scribes that are a lower level of yeah. So Shem Ktanim min HaChachamim. The point is to say that they're Ktanim min HaChachamim. They're less than the Chachamim. And then he says that the Sefraya Kechazanaya, those Sefraya were considered, even in a lower level, that they were considered like Chazanim. The Chazanaya Ke'amo De'aro. They were considered like Amarot. Yeah. ועמר דערו, אז לא מנב לבדלדל. And the Amarotim בכלל went and fade off. ואין דוירש מבקש, and nobody is asking, and nobody is around basically. ועל מי יש לנו להישען, and who can we rely on? על אבינו שבשמיים. Only of הקדוש ברוך הוא. Yeah, then the Gemara is going to say the escalation of of everything that goes worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay, so Be'ikvis Mashiach, in the time of Mashiach, chutzpah yizge. There's going to be a lot of chutzpah. Ve'yoiker yaimer, and everything will be very expensive. I get fentit and period. This is for you.
That's why I give you the fat bill.
And the vine will grow grapes,
Even though they'll be
and the wine will still be expensive. Usually, if there is such an abundance,
Right.
they should be cheaper. So there's two pshat in this. Either it's because everybody will be busy drinking,
Right.
so this is why even though there's a lot, it's still going to be expensive. Or because even though it's going to be a lot, but it's not going to be such a good taste, so you're not going to be able to get good wines out of it. So the little ones that you could make good wine of it, it's going to be expensive. This is what one of the Mepharshim says. Yeah, Ayan Beyeker sagt Rashi, Shakol Niskoi Oiskim B'Mashtois. Everybody is busy drinking. This is Rashi. Yeah, V'Amalchus still minus, and the kingdom will be minus. there will be against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ve'en teichachas, and you cannot say anything to anyone, because if you try to tell somebody, oh, you're doing something wrong, he's going to tell you, you're also doing something wrong, because everybody's doing something wrong. Bet vad yiliznus, the places where people, the Chachamim used to learn Torah over there, will be a place of znus. Ve'agolil yechorev, and the golil will be destroyed. Ve'agavlan ishoy, agavlan, it says either it's the name of a place, the Mefarshim try to see if it talks about the Golan of today, but in any case, they all agree that it talks about the north of Eretz Yisrael. So this will be deserted. And the people from the border, the people that live on the border of the north of Eretz Yisrael, they will be moving from a city to a city, and nobody will have pity on them. And people will not appreciate smart people, will not appreciate people who know books. And people will not appreciate people that are they're afraid of the sin. That they will have yiras shamayim, basically. And it will be a lack of truth that we could see today, massive lack of truth. The young people will blush the older people's faces.
Embarrass
them, yeah. The older people, the big people, the older people will have to stand up in front of the young guys. A son is cursing his father. Baskama be'ima. A daughter stands in front of her mother. Kala b'chamosa, a daughter-in-law in front of her mother-in-law. Oy ve'ishan shebeso, your enemies will be living in your house. Pnei ador k'pnei akelev, the face of the generation will be like the pnei akelev, the face of a dog. And this is because it's an example for the kelev. It says on the kelev, the dog, it's the only animal that it says chutzpah on it. Like we say in Bnei Chala. We say that they're chutzpah. They're chutzpahdik. Like we say in Bnei Chala, like we mentioned yesterday. That the dogs are chutzpahdik. Why? Because it's the only animal that thinks that is at the same level as the human.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The owner of the dog picks up after the dog.
Right.
Not the other way.
I want someone to pick up after me.
Yeah.
Someone's got to
So
do
he
it.
thinks I am in a different level than him.
Right.
The son will not be embarrassed in front of his father. And who can we rely on? Only on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Mamdami is coming, and only on HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
This is so wow.
Yeah.
That's like,
Can they do it? Can it kill him? Kill him. He doesn't. Kill him. The killer is always looking for the master. He goes in front, but he's looking back with the he's looking back. Because wherever the master, wherever the owner goes, then he follows him. I didn't say that.
yeah, it's kind of like this Indian of like the chutzpah is you're gonna go in front of your master, but then you're gonna realize like, oh wait, I don't know where I'm going.
Then he looks back. He looks back to see. He doesn't know where.
Yeah.
The leaders are like the killer. They go in front, but then look back and they say,
For
what do the
approval,
people
like,
want me to
yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Really, they're the followers.
So today we can really see it, more or less.
Wow. That's,
Okay, let's go weiter.
yes.
How much more time do we have?
15 minutes.
Okay, we should be able to finish up. Okay. So we say like this. Piska Kuf Lamed Beis. We learned the Mishnah Bepulmus Shel Aspesainus Keisar Kozru. So we read in the Mishnah a few things that the Aspesainus Keisar, that was the son of Titus, were Goizer. Okay, one of the things was that the Chachamim said at this time, Shelo Yilamed Adam es bnoi chochma Yevanis, that somebody will not teach his son the Chochma Yevonis, the knowledge of the Yevonim. No, Rabbanon say, so it was a time after the Chashmonaim, the grandson of Matityahu, his name was Alexander Yanai, and he fought with his brother to seek who will take over the kingdom. So they were fighting. They made a siege around the Beis Hamikdash, around Yerushalayim. It was a big internal war. It's a very sad story.
A civil war.
Civil war, yeah. So כשצרו מלכי, yeah. כשצרו מלכי בית חשמונאים זה על זה. When the Hashmonaim made a war between them, היה הורקינוס בחוץ, the Hurkinus was outside, ואריסטובולוס מבפנים, and the other one was inside. בכל יום ויום, every day, היו משלשים דינורים בקופה, they would put some money in a basket, ומעלים להם תמידי, and they would tie this basket to a rope, they will take down the basket with the money down the Choima of Yerushalayim. The brother that was the Yidden that were outside will take the money and we will put the korban. So they will have the korbanos inside the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, so Mishal Shem Dinan Bekupa, they will put money into the basket to go down. They will take the money. They will put back an animal, so they will pull it up. Right. So we'll have the animal to make the korban Beis Hamikdash. So says the Gemara Ma'aser, a very interesting story, very, very sad story. He was over there an older man. מבפנים, very good. Sagt Rashi מבפנים. That he understood the way the Yevonim were talking. He told them in such a language in Yevonis, but not the.
He understood the Greek.
He understood, but he is explaining later that there was two types of Yevonis. He was the aristocratic,
like
the fancy way people were talking. This not everybody knew how to talk. And he was like the people, like you could say today, the literature, like the way it's written in the newspaper and everything, for example, and the way the people talk on the street.
The cultured people.
The culture, yeah.
People.
So this guy inside, he knew how to speak like a more fancy Yevonis, and the people around him that were inside also, but were next to him, they didn't understand what he said.
Oh, I think that's what it means. Aristobulus is like the.
Aristobulus was his name. That was his name. Oh. Okay, so Hamaloi, and he told them. So the guy inside, told the guy outside in a more sophisticated language. So every time you give them an animal to make the korban, you're not going to be able to fight them because they have the korban who is protecting them. So they understood that if they want to win them, they make a siege. It's because they want to take it over. If they give them always a korban, they're never going to be able to take them over. So the next day, they pull down the money like every day. Instead of bringing up a kosher animal for the korban, they put a chazer. When they pull it up and the chazer arrived at the half of the wall of the Choima of Yerushalayim, Noatz b'tzipona, he stuck his nails into inside the Choima.
Yeah.
And it was like a massive earthquake, sort of 400 Amma on 400 Amma. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu was so upset that's what happened. That's what Rashi said. At this time they said, cursed should be the man who raised chazirim, and cursed should be the man who teaches his son Chochma Yevonis, because this guy knew, and he spoke like this, and this is what happened. And they say, and this year what happened? Because in Sukkah. So this year they weren't able to bring the Omer from around Yerushalayim. They had to go very far to bring it, and because he was transported from far away, so the Omer wasn't such a good quality. It was like already bad. So now the Gemara is going back to the first statement that we say that we shouldn't teach kids Yevonis. So as the Gemara Hini, that's really what it is, that we can't teach the kids Yevonis. Rabbi said, why do we in Eretz Yisrael we speak Sursi, which Rashi says that it's this language that we speak in Syria. Elo Iloshin Kodesh, Iloshin Yevonis. We either speak Loshin Kodesh or Loshin Yevonis. So we try over here that people did speak Yevonis in Eretz Yisrael. So why do we say that we should not be teaching Yevonis to the kids?
And the Sefer Yevonis is also.
Yeah. V'amar Rav Yosef, Bevovel Loshin Arami Lama. Why do we speak Arami in Bavel? Elo Iloshin Kodesh, Loshin Farsi. Right, so the second part is less relevant, but the first part that say that they were talking Yevonis in Israel, so we see that it's not an issue, like they claim he was. So for the Gemara, Lashon Yevonis Lechut, you need to distinguish two things. There is the language of Yevonis, the Chochmas Yevonis Lechut, and the Chochmas Yevonis Lechut. And what we see in the story over here, he said, he knew how to speak the more sophisticated Yevonis, not the Loshen Yevonis. He doesn't say Shoyamaki bil Loshen Yevonis. You see what it says over here?
It could be that everybody spoke Yevonis, but he was the one who knew Chochmat.
Exactly, and this is why he was able to tell them. Chochma Yevonis, for the Gemara, so and even Chochma Yevonis. Why do you say it's also? V'amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. He's testifying on himself. He was 1,000 kids in my father's house. 500 of them learned Torah, 500 learned Yevonis, and 500 of them learning Yevonis. And nobody was left. I'm only the one left. Everybody get killed. Uvenachi Abba Beis, and me and my nephew. So it means over there that they did learn Chochma Yevonis. So in the Gemara, Shani Shel ben Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Gamliel is different. Why? Because they Krovin Lamal Chesav. Because they were close to the kings, so they had to know how to communicate with them. The Tanya that it says in the Braisa, Mesaper Koimi, if you cut your hair like Koimi, which was a type of haircut that they will shave all the front of the head. It's Midarkei Moiri, which is also right. You can go Midarkei Moiri Shemenichim Bluris. So Rashi. Right?
Yep.
And it says so to cut your hair, to have a haircut like Koimi, it's also. And it says Avastus ben Reuven Itur lesaper Koimi. And they Shukov la Malchus. But for one of the guys, they let him do it. Why? Because he was close to the Malchus. Okay? Gemara goes weiter. Shebes Rabbi Gamliel itiru lehem Chochma Yevonis. Mipnei shekrovim la Malchus. So the same thing for Rabbi Gamliel, they let him learn Chochma Yevonis because he was close to the kingdom. Okay? Now we're going to finish up. And we say, Mishemes Rabbi Yechanan, Rabbi Mishemes Rabbi Elazar, Nigna Sefer Torah. When Rabbi Elazar died, when they buried him, it was like burying a Sefer Torah. It was so Kaddish. Shemes Rabbi Yeshua, but Eitz HaMachshava, Rabbi Yeshua died. Eitz HaMachshava was cancelled. Shemes Rabbi Akiva, but was Zohar Torah. When Rabbi Akiva died, the Zohar Torah was gone. The Nistamu Mainas Chochma, the stream of knowledge, was stopped, was clogged. Shemes Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, but Teres Chachamim, Teres Chachamim Ashram, right? Because he was a big Ashram. He was very rich. So when Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah died, he was like the last rich Talmid Chacham. Mishmez Rabbi Chaim ben Deisa batlu Anshe Maaseh. Rabbi Chaim ben Deisa, the Anshe Maaseh were no longer around. Mishmez Rabbi Yosef ben Katnita batlu Chasidim. So he was the last Chasid. Lama nikra shmei Abba Yosef ben Katnita. Why? What was his name? Yosef ben Katnita. Shemi Katnei Chasidim. He was a small Chasid, but he was still a big Chasid. Which, by the way, in Pirkei Avos, the Mishnah over there, it says, Rabbi Yosef Oimer, Mamen Chavecha Chaviv Alecha Keshelach, and this is something that has to do with Chasidim. Mishemez ben Azeh batlo Shagdonim, Mishemez ben Zoma batlo Darshanim, Mishemez Ramashemim Gamliel Olo Geve Verot Tzores, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel died. There was a lot of tzoros. The tzoros multiplied. Mishemes Rabbi uchpilu tzoros. When Rabbi died, the tzoros even doubled. Mishemes Rabbi botlo anova v'iraschait. When the Rabbi died, anova and iraschait, so being humble and aviras shamayim disappeared. So Amalei Rav Yosef Letano, Rav Yosef was sitting there when the Tana was saying this, and he told them, don't say that Anova is no longer around. Because I am here, and I am Anna. Amalei Rav Nachman Varitzchak Letano, so Rav Nachman Varitzchak was also there, and he also said, don't say that since Rabbi died, the Yiraschait disappeared. Because I am here. Being careful brings to be zoris, yeah? How do you say zoris? Being zoris.
Quick
Yeah,
with what you're doing.
yeah.
Oh, like because you're doing it all the time, so you're.
No, just because don't do it like a lazy
Because
person.
you care.
Right.
If you care, you do it fast. You do it.
Yeah.
It's like if you work at the store and you go and pick up a
Right,
bug,
okay,
a
yeah,
burger. You pick up, you bring, you go, you come back.
Okay.
Okay? Zrizus מביא על ידי nikius, and zrizus being fast comes to cleanness, right? And ruach hakodesh מביא על תחיית המתים, and if your ruach hakodesh brings to תחיית המתים, ותחיית המתים בא על ידי אליהו הנביא זכור לטוב, המוכם יזכנו לירויס בביוסי במהרה בימינו, אמן.
What?
Hadron alach, מסכתא סוטה.
See, we have Mashiach.